This movie is called City of Gold, Mahesh Manjrekar film. The film is about the life and times of people, laborers largely, impacted by this long textile strike which happened in Mumbai several years back. It's a film which really shakes you up. The first part that I want to share is about the film itself. The film is extremely well made by Mahesh. In a matter of 2.5 hours, he has managed to cover, several characters which were part of the story, which were part of the life at that time. Largely centered around a family which was staying in a stall and which had a large, so to say, exposure to the textile mills in terms of the family members being dependent on income from the textile mills. However, in addition to that family, there were many other characters which were part of the story, including the union leaders, characters which were neighbors of this family, some kids, the mill owners and the family there. All in all, Mahesh Manjrekar does justice to all of those characters and gives us a view from various perspectives. The story is a real story, a story which happened during those times when there was an extremely long strike in all textile mills in Mumbai, virtually all of them, and there were thousands of people dependent on the income which they received from these mills, and they were all virtually on streets. In the case of the textile mills strike, they carried a hope for a long time that the strike is imminent and it's going to be over in a very short time, and they kept living on hope. And while they were doing so, their savings just disappeared, and then the assets they had built over time, and these were meager assets, a little jewelry at home, some other stuff at home, they started selling those things one after the other, and they were virtually left with nothing, and it happened in a long and drawn out manner, and which probably makes it worse. And this impacted a very large number of people. Much the life after the kind of impact was shown in very stark reality. The things that people resorted to somehow survive or not survive were things which completely shock you, because you've not been close enough. You read about it, you heard about it, but what actual impact happened on the families when you see it on screen, it's you feel scared. How did thousands of people have to go through this? Several of them committed suicide. Many women and ladies were forced to sell the last thing they had to sell, and which was themselves, just to make ends meet or meet some medical bills or just pay for food at home. Kids resorted to thefts initially, and then to being bigger thugs of the society. Again, left with no choice. The kind of helplessness which led to this sort of behavior or sort of change in people, it's shocking. And what really creates which you can call as sinners in the society, and sometimes the sinners or the wrongdoers are created by society itself, and here was one clear example. I remember one other movie, again in stark reality, which was shown, was the movie Fiza, in which the character played by Hrithik Roshan is a young Muslim boy who's educated, but nobody would hire him because of the prejudice and the stigma associated with hiring Muslims during those days. and ultimately he is led to the path of terrorism and things of that nature. So, society really creates this kind of criminals or wrongdoers. And in The City of Gold, Mahesh Manjrekar shows exactly that. Of course, Manjrekar being Manjrekar and somebody who has made Vastav and films of that nature, he is prone to showing violence at a little higher pitch. The third angle I wish to just touch upon in this scenario is that much as this story makes us feel bad about what happened to the families and what happened to the large labor force, I think it was also a part of the change that happens in society every now and then, every few years or every few decades. It's a progress which makes something which was viable yesterday to be completely unviable today. Whether it is the farmers, agriculture which gets inefficient or has to be replaced by some other things, or any other such transition which happens as a matter of progress. For the moment, it definitely hurts a very large piece of people, the masses. But that is the price which society has to pay for itself to keep moving to the next level. So my feelings are torn here, and I wish that this kind of transition would have happened better, and I'm sure it can be handled better. This was handled the worst possible way, the way it is shown in The City of Gold. But change does happen, whether it's when manual work gets replaced by computerization, and a whole host of people just do not know how to cope with it because their jobs are displaced, or when outsourcing happens and a whole bunch of people suddenly lose their jobs in whichever part of the world they are in. All of these are realities, and they have to be made to happen as well as possible, but they will never be perfect. So somewhere in this story also lies this message. So anyway, having taken a couple of additional and tangential views beyond the story itself, I will revert back to the main subject, which is the movie City of Gold, directed by Mahesh Manjrekar. I would recommend it to one and all to see it. I would certainly rate it as a must-see. Thanks.